So SVS has now released an all-new Auto EQ feature that is available for free on the SVS app. Now, this Auto EQ feature is available for their Revolution lineup of subwoofers. So that includes the 17 Ultra, the 5000 Revolution, the 3000 Revolution, and the 3000 Micro Revolution. So now, what exactly is Auto EQ? Auto EQ is a program that's going to run on an individual subwoofer to optimize it across the entire frequency range. So when you install a subwoofer, by default, it's going to have a lot of variation across the frequency range, right? You're gonna get peaks at, say, 20 hertz, and then a big null at 30, and then maybe it's kind of flat at 40, and then another big peak at 50, right? So there's gonna be a lot of variation, and you don't want this because it's going to make your bass sound boomy, muddy, uncontrolled, right? Like, it's just not going to sound good. Instead, what you want is a flat frequency response across the entire frequency range. You want the subwoofer frequencies to be consistent, not have a lot of variation. So what the Auto EQ feature does is it makes adjustments within the subwoofer to try to minimize those peaks and valleys and make the frequency response consistent. Now, a question that a lot of people have is, do you need to run Auto EQ if you already have a room correction software or program that runs on your existing receiver or processor? For instance, maybe you have a Denon and it has Odyssey, or you have an Anthem and it has Anthem room correction. The answer to that question is yes, you would still want to run Auto EQ. Now, it's not absolutely necessary because a lot, if not all of those room EQ programs will optimize your subwoofers. However, there's a couple reasons why Auto EQ is a really good idea. First and foremost, if your receiver or processor does not have as many independent subwoofer outs as you do subwoofers. So for instance, here in my theater, I have 4 of these SVS 5000 Revolution subwoofers. So I need to be able to calibrate 4 subwoofers. But if I had an Anthem AVM 70 hooked up, which I do have one, but it's not hooked up. If I had that hooked up, it only has 2 independent subwoofer outs. So I would have to split the signal from one subwoofer out to 2 subwoofers, and then another subwoofer out to the other 2 subwoofers. And when the Anthem room correction software runs, it's only going to see 2 subwoofers, and it's going to only be able to make adjustments to those 2 subwoofers, even though there are 4 subwoofers, right? So by running Auto EQ on each individual subwoofer, you're optimizing each subwoofer and then running your Anthem room correction or your Odyssey or your Direct Live and making those adjustments after. So you always want to run the Auto EQ on the SVS subwoofers first. And then after you run that, then you run the room correction on your receiver or processor. So in that way, the SVS Auto EQ does all of the heavy lifting initially, and it optimizes each individual subwoofer, and then that reduces the amount of work that your room correction software has to do, because after the SVS Auto EQ runs, it's pretty well optimized, and so your room correction software shouldn't have to make too many adjustments. Now, I have already run the SVS Auto EQ on all 4 of my subwoofers here in my theater. As soon as it came out, I had to get it, and I immediately ran it. And then after I ran the Auto EQ, then I had to rerun my Trinov optimizer program on my Trinov processor so that everything is now optimized. So if you do run Auto EQ on any of your subwoofers, hopefully all of them, if you have these subwoofers and it's available, you absolutely need to rerun your room correction software on whatever receiver or processor you have. Now, I was curious to see what the results would be before and after running the Auto EQ. Now, the Auto EQ runs and it gives you like a chart that shows like this is how it measures now and here's how it's going to measure after all of these adjustments. But you then need to run something to independently verify that. And I was able to do that when I ran the Trinov optimizer program, because it takes an initial measurement of how each individual sub is performing, and I was able to compare that chart to how they performed before I ran the Auto EQ. So We'll get to that in a minute. That was very interesting. We'll get to that in a minute. But for now, I want to demonstrate and go through the process of running the Auto EQ on the subwoofers so that you can see how it works and actually how easy it is. So I've opened up the SVS app here, and it's connected to sub number 1. I named this sub 1. I named each one of them sub 1, 2, 3, 4, so I know which one I'm working with. So I'm connected to subwoofer 1 right here. So I've already run the SVS Auto EQ, and that's why it's showing up with the results here. But we're going to run through it again so that I can demonstrate how it works. So down here it says rerun SVS Auto EQ. So I'm going to select that, and then it gives some instructions, and it does tell you, for AV receiver systems, make sure you run the Auto EQ first. So that's good that they make a note of that. For 2-channel systems, it says after the SVS Auto EQ process is complete, check volume and low pass settings in the SVS app to optimize your calibrated subwoofer. So that's something to note if you have a 2-channel system. So I'm going to hit next, pre-measurement recommendations. This is where it tells you to make sure everything is as quiet as possible. Make sure you turn off your air conditioning, everything, air filters, turn it all off. So I'm going to hit next. This is where it gives you the option to use your internal microphone on your phone or to use the accessory microphone from SVS. Now I'm using my phone microphone, so I'm going to select that. It'll highlight in orange. Now I hit next. And then it also explains which part of your phone is the microphone. So if there's any question as to whether the microphone is at the top or the bottom, this is where it makes it clear that the microphone is located at the bottom of your phone or tablet. Now hit next, and this is where it explains where to place your phone relative to the subwoofer for the first measurement. So it's going to first take a measurement at the subwoofer. So it's going to measure how does this thing sound in its absolute best situation, which is about 4 inches in front of it. So then it'll take that measurement, and then you'll take a measurement at your main listening position. We'll get to that in just a moment. So it explains, set the phone about 4 inches in front of your subwoofer. Now we'll hit start measurement. Okay, so now it says completed, so I'll select that. Now it says the listening position measurement. It is only required that you take 1 measurement at your main listening position, but it gives you the option of taking up to 8 measurements around your room. So if you really want to optimize and average out the results across many seats, you can take up to 8 different measurements. Now for me personally, in my theater, most of the time I'm the only one in here listening or watching anything, and so I always optimize for just the main listening position, but just know that you do have that option to take up to 8 measurements. So now I'm going to hit next. So I'm here at the main listening position, and I have reclined the seat exactly the way it would be if I were here watching a movie. So now I'm going to hit next, and here it gives the instructions to aim the phone with the microphone aimed at the subwoofer. And it says, be careful not to cover the microphone. So I'm going to hold the microphone up here, right basically where my head would be, and then I'm going to hit next, and then I'm going to hit start measurement. Now I'll hit completed, and here's where it gives you the option to run more measurements. Now, like I mentioned, I only run 1 at the main listening position, so I'm going to hit skip and finish, and here's where it gives you those charts. So the gray line is uncorrected. That's what it looks like with no correction, and then the orange line, you can see that it smoothed it out. It is making it more consistent across all of the frequency spectrum. So then I will hit next, and this is basically it. It's saying it's enabled, and we're going to hit home, and it's done. And that's all there is to it. Now, you can always go back into the SVS Auto EQ. I'm going to select that right now. And up here, you'll notice that little orange toggle. You can enable or disable it if you want to. Now, right now, it's enabled, so I'm going to leave it as enabled. And then we'll just go back here to home, and we're back at the home screen. And that really is all there is to it, to run the Auto EQ on a subwoofer. Now, in my case, I did finish all the other 3 subwoofers, but I've already done those, so just for demonstration purposes, I just did the single subwoofer. But now it's done. So now let's take a look at the charts that show how these subs performed before the Auto EQ, and then we can look and see how they looked after. So the way we're going to look at these before and after charts for these subwoofers is by using the charts that are generated by the Trinnov when it does the calibration process. So the first thing it does is it takes a measurement of all of the speakers, and then it makes adjustments, and then it gives you a chart that predicts how the speakers are going to respond after. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at that chart that shows the actual measurement that the Trinnov processor calculated. So I did this 2 times. The first one is with the Auto EQ disabled on all 4 subs. So we'll be able to see what the frequency response is for all 4 subs without any Auto EQ. Then I enabled Auto EQ on all 4 subs, and then I reran the calibration process, and it took a measurement again. So now we have before and after. Now I've grouped, for simplicity reasons, I've grouped the charts into subs 1 and 2 on one chart, and then subs 3 and 4 on the other chart. Now subs 1 and 2 are at the front of the room, and then subs 3 and 4 are here at the back of the room, actually sitting right behind the main listening position. So let's first look at the chart for subs 1 and 2 at the front of the room before, with no Auto EQ, and it is pretty ugly. You can see some massive nulls, not just over single frequency, but over a range of frequencies. So let's start with the blue line. That one dips pretty significantly starting at 20 hertz and continues to drop all the way down to, I think that is 60 hertz. It's hard to say because the 50 is covered up by the word frequency, but that line that right there, that dip where at the blue line is at the lowest point, that's at 60 hertz. So if you look at the scale of the chart, it's in 10 dB increments. So it's zoomed out pretty far, and the line is still not even close to flat. It does not look good. So, I mean, if you look at where it's at the peak at 20 hertz, that's about positive 8 dB, all the way down to negative 8 dB. That's like a 15, 16 dB drop on that frequency response. That is ugly. And the red line is no better. It's honestly, it's pretty much just as ugly. So that's before with no Auto EQ. Now let's look at what the frequency response is after enabling Auto EQ. Significantly better. This is pretty remarkable. Now, I want to point out, and I'll have to like toggle back and forth between the 2 charts so you can really get an idea. Auto EQ on any system, whether it's, Direct Live or Odyssey or whatever, they're going to be pretty good about knocking down the peaks, right? Like you can always lower the volume on certain frequencies. So that's pretty good. But it's when they're able to get rid of nulls that's pretty amazing. And I want you to notice how the nulls have been not completely eliminated, but significantly reduced on the after chart. The blue line, both the blue line and the red line, they don't have those massive differences of 16, 15 dB across a range of frequencies. It's much flatter. Now, if I were to zoom in on this, or rather zoom out, maybe in 20 dB increments, I mean, the line would look basically flat, but I want to zoom in so you get an actual idea of what the frequency response actually is. So let's look at the worst nulls that we have now at roughly 25 hertz and 30 hertz. So there's kind of a null for the blue line at 25 hertz of about 5 dB. That is much better than 15 or 16 dB. And then we have a similar at about 28 hertz on the red line. It drops down from 0 down to about maybe 6 dB. So a 6 dB drop. Those are the most significant remaining nulls. And I don't even know if you would even call a 5 dB drop a null, because you're still getting some volume there. It's just 5 dB less. So anyways, the point here is that Auto EQ made a significant improvement on both of these subs. Now let's look at subs 3 and 4. They are not quite as ugly as subs 1 and 2, but that's to be expected because the subs are closer to the main listening position. Like I mentioned, they are actually placed directly behind the main listening position, but it's still not great. Like you've got, for the green line, you've got a pretty significant peak there at about 30 hertz. And then it drops down about 10 dB total once it gets up to 50 hertz. So that's a pretty significant drop right there. The purple line, it's not terrible, honestly. It's not super bad. I mean, it's got the lowest valley is about -3 dB at 38 hertz roughly, and then it gets as high as positive 4 dB at about 90 hertz. But I mean, it's not terrible. But again, it's pretty close to the main listing position, so that's to be expected. But then when you switch over to what the Auto EQ was able to accomplish, significant improvement. I am really impressed with how they were able to raise up the response for the purple line. It's actually getting more output, and that real significant drop on the before on the green line from 30 hertz to about 50 hertz has gone from about a 10 dB drop to about a 5 dB drop. So they've reduced it by 50%, which is pretty significant. So it has made a big improvement. And if you look at the frequency response above 100 hertz, it is much flatter. Now, I've got my crossover set at 80 hertz, so that's not as big of a deal because there's not going to be as much content being sent to the subs at frequencies above 100 hertz, but it's still pretty impressive of how the Auto EQ was able to improve that. So the lesson here is, the takeaway here is that the new Auto EQ from SVS works. I am impressed with the results. I'm happy with how it sounds. I've actually been running it for a few days here in my theater, and I have been very impressed with the results. I love how it sounds in here now. I love having that ability to very quickly and easily go to an individual sub and EQ it. Very simple process. And the results speak for themselves. I mean, these are actual measurements that I collected using the Trinov processor and the Trinov microphone, and it's pretty dramatic. It's pretty impressive. So if you have any of the SVS Revolution subs, definitely check out the Auto EQ. It's free. Thanks for watching.